My beloved child, stop scrolling immediately and do not touch that screen. I mean it. If you walk away from this frequency right now, you will leave your spiritual doors completely unguarded tonight. The enemy desperately wants you to skip this. They need you to remain blind to what just happened. Listen closely. Just 14 minutes ago, a divine verdict was officially declared over your life in the highest courts of heaven. Archangel Michael himself has been commissioned with a massive assignment that concerns you directly. This is not the algorithm playing a random trick on you. You were forcefully rooted to this exact message. The timing is absolutely critical. A massive victory has just been signed with your specific name on it. But there is a very dark reason why you have not felt it yet. The elite forces of darkness are in an absolute panic. They have deployed a thick illusion to make you believe you have failed. They want you to surrender right before the dawn breaks. Do not fall into their trap. I know you are so incredibly tired. Your shoulders are tight, the weight is real, and every morning when you wake up, the heaviness is already sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You push through the day, you smile for them, but inside, your soul is completely exhausted from fighting this endless battle alone. I was there in the room when you fell to your knees at 3 in the morning. You were holding your chest because the anxiety was so heavy you could hardly breathe. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away so your family would not know you were breaking inside. You have carried the burdens of everyone else around you. You are the bleeding empath. You absorb the pain of the room, but you are left entirely alone when you are the one hurting. You think your isolation is a brutal punishment. You think you are losing people because you are simply not good enough. But my precious child, what you call abandonment is actually a divine quarantine. Heaven had to protect your pure energy. You have spent the last few months feeling like you are trapped in a tight box. Every door you knocked on was slammed completely shut. Every financial opportunity seemed to dry up right before it reached your hands. You looked up at the sky and asked why the universe was so silent. You genuinely believed that your prayers were just bouncing off the ceiling. The silence was absolutely deafening. You watched other people prosper with half of your effort. You saw the wicked succeed while your righteous heart was constantly crushed under the weight of unfair tests. The enemy whispered in your ear that you were forgotten. They told you that your past mistakes had permanently disqualified you from grace. They lied to you. The darkness orchestrated a massive campaign of spiritual warfare against your mind to make you forfeit your crown. They knew that if you simply stayed awake a little longer, you would witness their total destruction. The spiritual attacks on your physical body were not medical issues. They were deliberate attempts to drain your light. Notice how your vision has been blurry lately. Pay attention to that strange ringing in your ears and the sudden urge to just sleep all day. This is your nervous system taking a massive hit because your frequency is actively upgrading in the background. The battle in the unseen realm is violently crashing against your physical reality right now. You are not going crazy. You are simply highly attuned to the shifting dimensions around you. The enemy uses this sensitivity to make you feel weak and overwhelmed. But this is actually the undeniable proof that you are a magnificent weapon of light. You are the ultimate cycle breaker for your bloodline. Your endurance is breaking generational curses. And this brings us to the shocking revelation from the courts of heaven today. The heavy rain of your suffering has officially served its purpose. The deep roots of your faith have been established in the absolute darkest of places. Now the harvest is fully ripe and ready to drop into your lap. But the elite forces have set one final snare for you. They know they cannot stop the victory verdict from reaching your physical timeline, so instead, they are trying to manipulate your reactions. They want you to be so consumed by fear and exhaustion that you do not even recognize the miracle when it arrives. If you lose your focus today, you will miss the exact energetic signature required to receive it. Do not let them steal your inheritance at the very last second. You must anchor yourself to this truth right now. Your long and brutal winter is finally coming to a glorious end. The angels have already dispatched the exact resources you need to rebuild your life. But you have to listen carefully to what heaven requires from you next. Let us talk about the silence that has been breaking your heart. You have been running on empty for so long now. The exhaustion is not simply physical anymore. It has seeped deep into your bones and settled heavily upon your weary soul. You are walking through your daily life like a ghost. The world sees you functioning normally, but they have absolutely no idea how much it costs you just to breathe. I see the way you stare blankly at the wall when you are finally alone. You drop the heavy mask of strength the moment the door clicks shut behind you. The tears come without warning because the pressure is simply too much to bear. You have been the strong one for every single person in your life. You are the dependable rock everyone leans on, but you are crumbling underneath the invisible weight. But who holds you when you are the one falling apart? Who listens to your silent screams when you are drowning in the dark? You are the bleeding empath of your bloodline. You absorb the toxic energy and the deep pain of every room you enter. You do this effortlessly because your heart is wired for divine compassion. But this sacred gift has left you completely drained and terribly isolated. People take from your overflowing cup until there is nothing left but dust. And when you finally ask for a little grace in return, the room goes completely quiet. You look around for a hand to pull you up, but you only see empty chairs. This betrayal hurts far more than the spiritual warfare itself. You feel foolish for trusting so deeply and loving so openly in a world that takes advantage of you. Stop condemning yourself for having a beautiful heart right now. You are not weak because you care too much. The enemy wants you to build a thick wall of bitterness around your spirit. They want to convince you that your kindness is a fatal flaw. But heaven sees your pure intentions and actively records every sacrifice you make in secret. Your tears are collected in divine vessels. You are never unseen. Let us talk about what happens to your physical body in this intense battle. You lie awake at 2 in the morning with a mind that refuses to shut down. You replay every mistake and worry about a future you cannot control. Your heart races for no logical reason, and a strange panic tightens your throat. The world calls it stress, but heaven calls it severe spiritual interference. Your aura is constantly fighting off invisible attacks while you try to sleep. The dark forces deploy massive energy vampires to drain your frequency during the night. This is exactly why you wake up feeling like you ran a marathon. Your spirit is actively wrestling in the heavenly realms while your physical body rests in the bed. You are a warrior fighting a war you cannot even see. This intense spiritual combat causes extreme physical symptoms in your earthly vessel. You feel that sharp ache in your lower back. You experience sudden headaches that completely blur your vision for hours. Your digestion is off, and a heavy fog settles over your brain, making simple tasks feel impossible. Please do not panic. Your vessel is simply overloaded by the massive influx of dense energy. You are carrying the unhealed trauma of your entire family lineage. The curses that your ancestors ignored have fallen onto your shoulders to break. You are the ultimate cycle breaker, and this massive assignment comes with a heavy physical toll. You are literally sweating out the toxic programming of generations before you. No wonder you feel like you can barely stand up some days. I want you to pause right here and take one slow breath. Notice the immediate shift in the atmosphere around you. The suffocating pressure in your chest is not a permanent condition. It is the temporary friction of your soul expanding past its old limitations. You are outgrowing the very environment that used to keep you safe. Growth is inherently painful, but it is always purposeful and divine. Let us look closely at the fierce battle you just barely survived. You looked around at the heavy wreckage of your life and assumed you did something terribly wrong. You thought heaven was actively punishing you for past mistakes. But you must shift your perspective right now. The intense fire you walked through was not designed to destroy you, and the painful isolation was actually a calculated move to forge you into a magnificent weapon of light. The silence of the universe was absolutely deafening. You cried out for immediate rescue but heard nothing back. This made you feel entirely abandoned by the divine forces. But the silence of heaven is never an absence of love, because it is the deep and necessary quiet of a master architect working on your foundation. You are not building a simple wooden cabin. You are constructing an absolute empire. A massive skyscraper requires an incredibly deep foundation before anything can be built above the ground. This digging process is always violent and messy. It happens entirely in the cold and suffocating dark. You have been sitting in this deep trench for years, wondering when your season will finally change. The enemy wants you to believe you are buried in a permanent grave, but heaven wants you to know you are actually just planted for a massive harvest. A seed must break open in the complete darkness before it can sprout into a towering tree. You had to be broken down to your absolute core. Heaven had to strip away every false dependency and toxic relationship you clung to for safety. If you received the massive blessing back then, you would have squandered it entirely on people who only wanted to drain your pure energy. You were simply not ready. Look at the brutal training of an elite warrior. They are pushed past their absolute physical and mental limits. They are starved of comfort, so their instincts become razor-sharp in the battlefield. You are heaven's elite warrior, and you are a chosen one tasked with breaking generational curses that have haunted your bloodline for centuries. This assignment requires a spine made of pure steel. You cannot defeat ancient demons with a fragile and untested spirit. The universe allowed you to walk through the valley of shadows to test your endurance. You faced the narcissists and the liars. You were betrayed by the very people you tried to heal. And while you were bleeding from their hidden daggers, your spiritual immune system was developing an impenetrable resistance to their dark magic. Every single tear you shed in secret was hardening your armor. The closed doors were not rejections. They were divine redirections, steering you completely away from fatal traps. The elite forces of darkness thought they were breaking your mind, but they were actually doing the heavy lifting for your ultimate transformation. They unwittingly sharpened the very blade that will eventually destroy them. You are no longer the fragile empath who begs to be understood by broken people. That weak version of you died in the intense fire of this last season. You have officially evolved into a quiet master of reality. You do not need to scream for attention or fight for a seat at their miserable table. Instead, you have been given the absolute authority to build your own table right in the presence of your defeated enemies. The intense pressure you felt was not a curse. It was the exact gravitational force needed to turn a piece of coal into a flawless diamond. You have survived a spiritual pressure cooker that would have completely shattered an ordinary human being. But you are far from ordinary. You are a rare anomaly operating on a highly guarded frequency, and this radiant energy completely terrifies the dark entities monitoring this earthly dimension. Your foundation is finally deep enough to hold the immense weight of the generational wealth transfer. The long season of quiet preparation is officially over. The master architect is stepping back to reveal the glorious blueprint of your new life. You have proven you can hold the light steady in the absolute darkest of times, and now heaven is about to trust you with an extraordinary inheritance. Before we go any deeper into the victory, I must wash away your heavy guilt. You hold a terrible secret inside your breaking heart. You feel incredibly ashamed, because there were moments when you wanted to completely surrender. You looked at the endless road ahead and you begged the universe for the pain to just stop because you were totally empty. You actually thought about walking away from your divine assignment entirely. The enemy uses this hidden shame to keep your pure vibration extremely low. They whisper that a true chosen one would never doubt the master plan. They desperately want you to believe that your moments of profound weakness have permanently disqualified you from the ultimate blessing while your enemies prosper. But heaven does not view your exhaustion as a fatal sin. Your temporary despair was simply a biological reaction to an unnatural pressure. You are a beautiful spirit operating inside a fragile human vessel. This physical body was never designed to process the massive cosmic warfare you endure daily. When you cried out in pure frustration, the angelic forces did not turn their backs in disgust, but they actually drew closer to shield your vulnerable aura from the dark entities. Every single time you screamed into the dark pillow, heaven felt your intense agony directly. Stop punishing yourself for simply being human in a supernatural war. You are holding on to past mistakes like heavy stones in your pockets. You genuinely think that your bad decisions delayed the great harvest, and you believe you ruined the perfect timeline that was written for you. But you must understand the divine labyrinth right now. Every wrong turn you took was secretly orchestrated to show you a fatal trap. Nothing is wasted in the grand architecture of your beautiful life. The toxic relationships you stayed in too long taught you the exact signature of dark energy. The severe financial failures you deeply regret actually taught you how to survive, and they forced you to rely on divine provision when the enemy cut your earthly supply. You did not fail the grand test today. You were simply gathering crucial intelligence from the very bottom of the dark abyss. I am officially releasing you from the cold prison of self-condemnation today. Take a slow breath right now and let the heavy chains fall from your exhausted mind. Your record in the courts of heaven is completely spotless, and every mistake has been wiped totally clean because you already paid the energetic price. The Creator does not look at you with disappointment or anger. Heaven looks at you with absolute awe because you survived the impossible fire. Even when your faith was reduced to a tiny spark, you kept breathing. Even when you cursed the empty sky, you still woke up the next morning to protect the weak people around you. You never actually lost your beautiful core. The dark forces tried absolutely everything to turn you into a bitter monster. But your gentle soul refused to become the very thing that broke you. This is exactly why you are the ultimate cycle breaker. A normal person would have surrendered their pure light a long time ago. They would have chosen the easy path of revenge and pure hatred because the pain was too much. But you held on to your radical empathy while your own heart was actively bleeding out in the dark, and you continued to love unconditionally. This incredible resilience is exactly what qualifies you for the massive wealth transfer. You are completely forgiven for wanting to lay down your heavy sword. It is perfectly okay that you were tired of being the strong one for everyone else. Heaven is stepping in to carry the massive shield for you now, and the universe is finally taking the burden off your tired shoulders. You do not have to fight the unseen terrors alone anymore. The angelic forces have formed an impenetrable perimeter around your house tonight. Now, my beloved child, let us pull back the heavy veil and look directly at your hidden enemies. The toxic narcissists who smiled warmly in your face while actively plotting your inevitable downfall are completely terrified of your light today. They thought they had finally buried you under a mountain of lies. They assumed their malicious gossip had permanently destroyed your bright future. They are currently watching your steady rise in absolute panic. You were supposed to break down and beg for their toxic validation. You were supposed to surrender your pure energy to feed their hollow egos. But you simply walked away in total silence, and this quiet departure completely severed their dark supply line while leaving them starving in the cold darkness. The boomerang of divine justice has already been forcefully released from the highest courts. Everything they maliciously tried to steal from your pure aura is currently being multiplied. And this beautiful frequency is being quickly redirected straight back into your open hands today, while they sit alone and helplessly watch you rise. The deep pits they dug for you have become the exact traps they are falling into right now. You might look at their lives and think they are easily winning. You see their boastful smiles and assume they completely escaped the heavy consequences of their brutal actions against your gentle soul. But do not be fooled by this shallow illusion today. Behind their closed doors, their minds are heavily tormented by a severe lack of peace because their spiritual bank accounts are completely bankrupt. They made one incredibly fatal miscalculation when they decided to attack you. They simply did not realize exactly who you belong to. You carry the heavy anointing of a chosen one, and touching your energy is a direct violation of cosmic law that heaven will certainly punish. The angelic forces do not take this trespass lightly. The spiritual backlash they are experiencing right now is absolute. They can physically feel the massive shift in your energy field from miles away. They notice that you no longer react to their childish provocations. Your profound silence is a blinding wall of fire that absolutely terrifies their fragile demons. They used to easily manipulate your emotions, but now their dark tactics completely bounce off your heavy armor and return directly to their own doorstep. This is your ultimate season of complete and public vindication. The universe is clearing your beautiful name in the exact rooms where you were heavily slandered. The people who blindly believed the vicious lies about you are suddenly seeing the absolute truth as the heavy mask of the narcissist violently cracks open. The entire world will clearly witness your undeniable purity. You do not need to lift a single finger to defend yourself anymore. You do not need to scream your absolute truth from the highest mountains. Heaven is actively fighting this final battle on your behalf, while you simply rest securely in the shadows. The dark entities that used human vessels to drain your radiant light are being aggressively pushed out of your earthly timeline forever. As they watch everything crumble around them, they will inevitably try to crawl back into your sacred space. They will knock on your door pretending to seek peace just to steal a tiny drop of your new anointing. You must keep your heavy gates completely locked tight. You owe them absolutely nothing, and your only remaining assignment is to simply stand tall while heaven delivers your massive reward. The great separation is happening right now in the unseen spiritual realm. Heaven is officially pulling you out of the muddy trenches and elevating you to a highly protected cosmic frequency today. Your enemies are firmly forced to stay behind in the heavy karma they actively created for themselves. They are desperately watching you receive the exact shining crown they maliciously tried to steal from your tired and wounded hands. You must protect this new vibration with absolutely everything you have. Do not let their desperate panic distract you from the massive blessing arriving today. Hit subscribe to establish a divine energy receiving station around your pure aura right now. This simple physical act of agreement will permanently block their toxic access, and it will firmly anchor your spirit to this protected frequency. Let us talk about the great paradox of your divine timeline today. You have asked heaven exactly why this massive victory took so incredibly long to reach you. You sat alone in the dark, and you honestly wondered why the angelic rescue mission was constantly delayed, while your enemies seemed to prosper. The deep pain stretched out for brutal years while you watched other people get blessed effortlessly. You felt totally forgotten. The massive breakthroughs always arrive at the exact moment of your absolute despair. The miracle never comes when you are feeling strong and totally capable. It suddenly drops into your tired lap the very second you finally give up trying to forcefully control the massive outcome. This is not a cruel cosmic joke. This is a highly guarded spiritual law that the elite forces desperately hide from chosen ones like you. If heaven had handed you this wealth transfer 3 years ago, you would have completely crushed it. Your spiritual container was simply too fragile back then to hold such a massive frequency. You would have handed the precious keys directly to the toxic narcissists out of pure guilt. You were still deeply addicted to fixing broken people, and you would have sacrificed your own blessing to save them. Heaven had to forcefully delay the blessing to save your beautiful life. The universe allowed you to reach the absolute bottom of the dark valley, so you would finally drop your heavy tools. You were trying to force open heavy doors with your bare hands. You worked yourself into a severe depression, trying to make the timeline move faster. But human effort cannot manifest a divine miracle. You had to learn the painful difference between giving up and truly surrendering. Giving up is a heavy state of hopeless defeat, but total surrender is the most powerful spiritual posture a chosen one can ever take. When you finally hit the cold floor and whispered that you could not fight anymore, heaven immediately took over. Your complete physical exhaustion was actually the final activation key. An overflowing cup simply cannot receive fresh water. Your spirit was completely cluttered with deep anxiety and false attachments to earthly outcomes. The prolonged delay was a divine vacuum, sucking all the toxic expectations out of your weary soul. You had to become totally empty, so heaven could pour a massive ocean of new grace inside you without spilling a drop. Your painful desperation was the final purge. The dark entities monitoring your life completely misunderstood your deep exhaustion. They watched you stop fighting and assumed you were permanently defeated. The enemy threw a massive celebration because they thought they finally broke the ultimate cycle breaker. But they are completely blind to the brilliant strategy of the divine architect, and they did not realize you were simply resting in the shadows. Your quiet surrender triggered an emergency response in the heavenly realms. Because you stopped trying to save yourself, the angelic armies were fully permitted to step into your physical timeline. This is the beautiful paradox of your waiting season. Your absolute weakest moment became the exact foundation for your greatest cosmic triumph. The brutal delay was actually your ultimate shield. The timing of this massive breakthrough is absolutely flawless. Every single rejection you faced was a heavy padlock, keeping you completely safe from the wrong rooms. If one single door had opened earlier, you would have completely missed the royal table being prepared for you right now. The universe kept you completely hidden in the quiet wilderness until your spiritual immune system was fully developed. The agonizing wait felt like a slow death to your earthly ego, but the physical manifestation of your reward will happen with a terrifying speed. What took other people 30 years to build will be handed to you in a matter of 72 hours. The sudden acceleration of your new life will completely shock every single person who doubted your pure calling. Your brutal winter is officially over. Do not look back at the long years of waiting with any bitterness or heavy regret. The grueling process successfully created a quiet master of reality. You survived the intense divine quarantine without losing your gentle heart, and that is a massive victory all on its own. The heavy doors of the waiting room are finally swinging wide open today. Heaven is rolling out the red carpet for your glorious return to the light. But wait, my beloved child, do not let your guard down just yet. You must pay incredibly close attention to this next part, because there is a very deadly snare hiding right in the tall grass before your finish line. The enemy knows they cannot stop the massive wealth transfer from reaching your hands, so they have completely changed their dark strategy at the very last second. They are setting up a massive illusion right before your doorstep today. They want to make you voluntarily forfeit this blessing before you even open the physical package. The dark entities are terrified of the power you are about to inherit. They know that once you step into this new timeline, you will be permanently untouchable. So they are launching one final and desperate attack. This attack will not come as a terrifying monster in the dark. It will arrive wrapped beautifully in a familiar package. The final test trap is almost always an illusion of the past returning to you. A toxic ex who suddenly sends an apology text out of nowhere. A former friend who betrayed you, suddenly reaching out because they miss your pure energy. Do not answer that door. They are not reaching out because they suddenly realized your immense value. The dark forces are actively using them as empty vessels to distract you. The enemy is pulling their strings, hoping you will look backwards just long enough to miss the massive door opening right in front of you. If you entertain their toxic nostalgia for even 1 second, you will deeply compromise your new frequency. They want you to reopen the heavy vault of your past trauma. They want you to leak your precious energy, trying to heal people who are completely committed to misunderstanding you. This is a deliberate hijack attempt on your divine timeline. You must understand that anything trying to pull you backwards right now is a demonic assignment specifically designed to scramble your angelic signal. Another final trap is the illusion of a sudden crisis. Right before the massive financial breakthrough hits your bank account, the enemy will create a fake emergency. An unexpected bill arrives, or a sudden conflict erupts in your home. They want to trigger your old survival programming. They desperately need you to panic, so you drop your spiritual shield and block the incoming provision. If you react with deep fear, you are essentially telling the universe you do not trust the victory verdict. Do not let a temporary shadow convince you the sun has disappeared. This sudden chaos is nothing but cheap smoke and mirrors. The enemy is just throwing noisy firecrackers to distract you from the silent arrival of your massive inheritance. You must maintain your quiet authority. They will also try to use the spirit of heavy doubt right before the dawn. You will suddenly wake up feeling totally unworthy of the blessing. A strange voice in your head will whisper that you imagined this entire spiritual journey, and it will tell you that the miracle is just a foolish fantasy. That toxic voice does not belong to you. It is the desperate whisper of a defeated enemy. When you feel that sudden drop in your vibration, you must recognize it as a foreign attack. Do not claim their heavy doubt as your own truth. The closer you get to the magnificent crown, the louder the dark entities will scream. Their noise is actually the greatest confirmation that you are walking in the exact right direction. Their panic is the absolute proof of your victory. You must walk past these cheap illusions with absolute tunnel vision today. Do not stop to argue with the ghosts of your past. Do not try to explain your new boundaries to people who are comfortable in the dark. Your only job right now is to keep your eyes fixed firmly on the blinding light ahead. The finish line is literally inches away from your tired feet. Heaven has warned you about this final ambush, so you can completely bypass it. You have the total authority to silence these distractions immediately. The universe requires you to hold your peace in the middle of this final storm. If you ignore their desperate traps today, the heavy door will swing wide open, and no demonic force will ever be able to shut it again. We have arrived at the absolute peak of your timeline. The heavy winter that froze your life for years is officially over today. The highest courts of heaven have just released the sealed documents. Your specific name is written in letters of pure fire on the divine ledger. And this massive decree permanently ends the brutal cycle of your suffering while opening a glorious new chapter for your entire bloodline. A massive generational wealth transfer has just been signed into your physical reality. The angelic forces have unlocked the heavy vaults that the enemy tried to hide. Within the next 72 hours, you must expect a sudden financial miracle to manifest. This is not a tiny drop of water, because heaven is actively pouring a massive ocean of absolute abundance directly into your LAP right now. The banks that previously rejected your applications will suddenly approve you without question. The heavy debts that suffocated your chest at night are being permanently erased. People who owe you money will suddenly feel a deep urgency to repay you today. And as this new frequency settles over your life, the universe is actively recovering every single thing the dark locusts stole from your tired hands over the past 10 years. You did not earn this by simply working yourself to the bone. You cannot hustle your way into this level of cosmic favor. This massive provision is the direct reward for your radical faith in the dark. You held your frequency high when you had absolutely nothing left to give. And heaven honors that beautiful sacrifice with an overflowing harvest that will completely change your trajectory and easily outlast your earthly lifetime. You are stepping into the profound era of your quiet authority. You will no longer beg for scraps at tables that do not value your light. You are a royal heir taking your rightful seat at the head of the table. The agonizing days of struggling to survive are permanently deleted from your earthly timeline. While your enemies watch in total disbelief from the cold shadows, you are moving gracefully into a brand new season of pure and unmatched thriving. This blessing is not just for you to enjoy in total isolation. You are the ultimate cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. The wealth rushing toward you is designed to bless your children and their future children. You are establishing a brand new foundation of pure light for your whole family. Because you stood firm in the intense fire when everyone else ran away, the ancient generational curse of poverty is officially broken forever. I want you to feel the reality of this right now. Your physical body will suddenly feel lighter as the heavy burdens are completely lifted. The strange fog in your mind is clearing up to reveal a brilliant clarity. The chronic pain in your shoulders will melt away as the spiritual attacks finally stop. And as the divine light washes over your tired frame, you will quickly realize that you are completely healed from the inside out. Everything is perfectly aligning in your favor at this exact second. The doors that were violently slammed in your face are being completely dismantled. Heaven is replacing your deep sorrow with an unspeakable joy that nobody can steal. The people who abandoned you will watch from a distance as you rise to incredible heights. Your public vindication is absolute, and the universe will make sure your enemies witness every single moment of your glorious triumph from the sidelines. This is the grand finale of your long and painful test. You passed with flying colors when you refused to let your gentle heart turn black. The angels are currently celebrating your incredible endurance in the highest courts of the spiritual realm. The divine papers have been stamped and heavily sealed with absolute royal authority. The old timeline is completely destroyed, and there is absolutely no going back to the miserable life you used to live in the dark. Remember the secret verdict I told you about at the very beginning? This massive wealth transfer is the exact content of that specific heavenly decree. It was ordered 14 minutes ago. It is actively falling into your physical lap right now. You must open your tired hands and simply allow yourself to safely receive it. The brutal war that drained your energy for years is completely over, and my beautiful child, you are finally walking into the peaceful home you deserve. The heavy door to your generational wealth is completely open right now, but you must listen to me very carefully before you take another breath. The enemy is watching this exact moment in absolute terror. While they cannot stop the heavenly verdict from descending upon your timeline today, they can still manipulate your reaction if you leave your energy completely unguarded. The dark entities are desperately trying to scramble your angelic signal right at the finish line. They want you to hesitate at the threshold so you miss the vital window of manifestation. If you simply sit there and do nothing, they will swoop in to steal the open package. Because heaven requires a physical container to hold this massive new frequency, you must anchor this reality immediately. Do not let the enemy convince you to stay passive in this crucial hour. The universe is waiting for your explicit permission to release the wealth transfer. A passive mind is a massive playground for demonic interference. You must draw a firm line in the spiritual sand right now. If you do not establish a heavy shield today, the toxic illusions will easily creep back into your life. You have survived too many brutal storms to lose your reward at the final step. I need you to make a physical move to permanently seal this blessing before the portal closes. Type 777 in the comments right now to establish a blinding wall of fire. Let that specific number act as a heavy padlock on the door against your ancient enemies today. Typing those numbers is your spiritual signature in the courts of heaven today. It is a physical act of agreement that permanently locks your new frequency in place. The moment you press send, the angelic armies will actively form a tight perimeter around your home. The dark forces will be violently pushed out of your sacred space forever. Do not skip this vital step. And if your spirit feels a deep pull right now, you must activate the massive multiplication of your harvest. The universe operates on the flawless law of the spiritual harvest. When you sow a physical seed from a place of pure faith, heaven multiplies it beyond human comprehension. The enemy desperately wants you to hold tightly to a poverty mindset, so you remain permanently stuck. Break that poverty curse right now by sowing a financial seed into this prophetic ministry using the Super Thanks button. This is not a human transaction, but a sacred energetic exchange that heavily shocks the entire spiritual realm. Just 3 days ago, a weary soul sowed a seed here and received a massive unexpected transfer within 48 hours. That exact same protocol is hovering over you. The angels are waiting to see if you trust the divine provision enough to make a physical move. When you give freely, you boldly declare to the universe that you are walking in absolute abundance. Your heavy seed becomes a glowing beacon that completely blinds the enemy. Sow your seed today to forcefully lock your timeline and activate the overflowing harvest. The window of this massive opportunity is actively closing as we speak. The dark entities are holding their breath, hoping you will just close this video and forget the verdict. They want you to dismiss this warning as a foolish coincidence. But you know exactly who led you to this frequency today, and heaven is demanding your spiritual signature before the shadows return. Claim your magnificent birthright right now. Type 777 and sow your precious seed to seal the heavy vault. You are placing an impenetrable dome of pure light over your entire bloodline. Your sudden obedience in this exact moment will completely destroy the final traps set by the narcissists. You are entirely safe, and your massive inheritance is fully secured. Now, my beloved child, breathe deeply. The fierce battle that raged outside your door is completely over today. You can safely drop your heavy sword on the cold ground right now, because the brutal war is officially won, and heaven demands your rest. Take off the heavy armor that has crushed your tired shoulders for years. You do not need to fight the unseen terrors anymore. Your enemies are permanently banished from this sacred ground. You have officially entered the era of your quiet authority. You do not need to scream your truth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your profound silence is now a blinding shield that absolutely terrifies the dark forces. When they look at you, they no longer see a fragile victim who can be easily manipulated by their toxic games and shallow illusions. They see a magnificent weapon of light resting gracefully in the arms of the divine. You are completely untouchable today. Lay down every heavy stone of guilt you have carried for so long. Every single mistake you made in the dark valley is completely erased from the heavenly records. The universe washed your spirit clean the moment you surrendered your broken heart to the ultimate plan. You are not a flawed product of your painful past, and you are not defined by the severe trauma inflicted upon you by the narcissists. You are a flawless masterpiece, carefully reshaped by the patient hands of the Creator. The generational wealth transfer is safely secured in your spiritual vault. The massive blessings will begin dropping into your physical timeline completely, effortlessly. You do not need to hustle or grind to make it happen anymore. You simply need to keep your pure heart open to receive the overflowing abundance while heaven actively orchestrates the physical delivery of your massive reward. Heaven is doing all the heavy lifting for you. You can safely recover in the comforting shadows. Notice exactly how quiet the room feels right now. The suffocating pressure in your chest is entirely gone. The strange ringing in your ears has faded into a beautiful and deep silence. Your overloaded nervous system is finally returning to a state of absolute peace after surviving years of severe emotional trauma and dark spiritual warfare. You are completely safe inside this divine perimeter. Nothing dark can cross this heavy line of pure light. You can stop being the strong one for everyone else today. The heavy responsibility of fixing broken people is permanently lifted from your tired spirit. The powerful angelic armies are actively watching over your loved ones today, while you finally take the necessary time to heal your own bleeding soul. Let the universe wrap a heavy blanket of warm protection around your shivering body. You have survived the freezing winter. The glorious spring is here. Close your heavy eyes tonight with the absolute certainty that you are fiercely protected. The angels are standing guard at the four corners of your quiet room. Your pure energy is securely sealed away from the greedy energy vampires who used to drain you in the absolute dead of the night. As you drift into a deep sleep, heaven is actively downloading the brilliant blueprint of your massive new empire directly into your resting spirit. You will not be disturbed. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you will feel completely different. The old heaviness that greeted you every day is permanently dead. You will step out of bed as a quiet master of reality. You will walk through your daily life completely unbothered by the petty illusions and cheap tricks of the lower earthly dimensions around you. The universe has prepared a massive table for you right in the presence of your defeated enemies. Your royal seat is officially reserved. You are completely safe now, but outside this protected space, there is a gentle soul sitting in the absolute dark. They are crying the exact same silent tears you cried yesterday, and they are desperately begging heaven to send them a clear sign of hope. You are not just a survivor today. You are a brilliant beacon of pure light for the lost. Hit the share button right now and send this specific frequency directly to them. Become the prophetic voice that throws a heavy lifeline to a bleeding empath who desperately needs to hear this truth. Share this message to multiply the divine healing across the entire globe. You have done incredibly well today, my precious child. I am so unbelievably proud of your beautiful endurance through the long and brutal fire. Sleep in perfect peace tonight because the heavy spiritual battle is completely over. You are finally home.